Hello there, my name is Mackenzie and welcome to episode 9 of my J-Pop Journal With Me series. As stated in the previous episode, this spread is the second to be dedicated to NiziU's Blue Moon single. The day I filmed these two Blue Moon spreads, the weather app was claiming it would be a sunny day, and as it was the only sunny day that week, I planned to film these on this day specifically, and it was really the only day I could film them, but of course it actually ended up being cloudy and dark. I was so upset by this that I actually reported it to the Weather Network app because I needed them to know how wrong they were. That said, the footage for this one might be on the darker, grainier side, as that's often how it ends up in low light conditions on my phone, but we're gonna say it adds to the cozy ambiance and go with it. I had a lot of the material left over from the previous spread, but unfortunately I didn't have enough left of the moon article and the night sky pictures I printed out to use in this spread the way that I wanted to, so I had to print them out a second time. I wanted the spread to focus more on how the song itself feels to listen to. It has this really pretty guitar going on in the verses that's very calming, and the vocals in little rap section are on the softer side for the verses, so it feels like a warm blanket being wrapped around you. Rima's first line in particular is so soft and sweet and a great start to the song, and the la 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 and bridge harmony lines are so dreamy. Once it picks up in the chorus, it loses that softness and becomes a little more poppy, but I don't know how to describe it. It's like that doodle instrumental part just sounds so magical and like what I imagine flying around the night sky like Peter Pan would feel like. I was a little worried about a ballad for this group because as much as I love them, NiziU is not a vocally strong group, and a ballad track would highlight that in the worst way possible. But the way the song is sung and the lines divided up really suits the members and plays to their strengths a bit better and makes the song a lot easier to listen to, so I was able to appreciate the song a lot more after a few listens. Anyway, I wanted this spread to really have that soft, dreamlike vibe that the song has. The first Blue Moon spread was focused on the regular edition jacket cover and elements of the music video, but for this second spread I wanted to theme it around the jacket cover for the limited edition of the single, which has such a warm and cozy vibe to it. This time I had the moon article along the top and bottom of the spread instead of in the center as with the previous one, and placed the girls as the main focal point right in the center on the left side. I said in the last video that the glue stick not being super sticky comes in handy sometimes, and this is what I was talking about because I had to pull up a large amount of what I'd already put down to fix things and get them how I wanted. I loved these little bunny paintings done by the Japanese artist Moriyama Shinako. And while on Pinterest, I came across these two pieces by her and knew they'd fit well into the aesthetic I was going for with this second spread. I spent a stupid amount of time cutting out each of these bunnies individually. I wanted this spread to feel dreamy and magical, and these bunnies really brought that vision together. I painted on some of the clouds from the previous spread and was honestly just in love with how whimsical and soft it looks. The only issue I have with this spread is the shot of the girls standing around the moon. I wish I would have edited the image so it was a bit warmer and fit in better with the color palette of the rest of the spread. There's a slight bluish shadow to the girls that does help tie it in, so it's not too out of place, but it does stick out a little color-wise. I almost used gold paint to paint some stars everywhere when I remembered I had this picture of starlights on a tree that would be perfect instead, and spent another eternity cutting those tiny stars out. There isn't anything gold in any of the other elements of the spread, so although I do think that the gold stars would have looked very pretty, The yellow color of these star cutouts matches perfectly with the moon Mako is holding and also matches in style, so I think it was definitely the better choice. I decided the bottom right corner was too plain and just couldn't leave it alone, so I wrote "Love you to the moon and back" on it. The paper was difficult to write on to begin with for some reason, and my pen was already giving me a hard time, but because there was some glue there, it messed with my pen and I ended up with a bit of a mess. I tried to make it look intentional by going over it again, but it just made it worse and I had to take a deep breath and just let it go. The spread was turning out too perfect. Okay, it had to get knocked down a notch, I guess. I didn't include any drawings in the spread, but despite it being almost entirely cut and paste, it probably took just as long, if not longer, than the first spread because of all of the time spent cutting the tiny bits, but it ended up being my favorite of the two. It's definitely a tough call to make, but if there was a gun to my head and I absolutely had to choose, it would be this one. I just adore the playful, magical vibe of this one. It reminds me of being a kid and daydreaming while trying to fall asleep at night, counting bunnies and stars in dreamland. Which blue moon spread do you like the best? I'd love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of the series, you can find all of the episodes in a convenient little playlist here on my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back with another J-Pop Journal with Me episode real soon.